Hello and welcome back to another episode on the PlantFueled Femme. Today we have a special guest with us, master healer and mental health professional, Anni Eza. So Anni is joining us all the way from Greece. So thank you for making time to pop on our show. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today.
Thank you for having me, Clarissa. And it's a pleasure to meet you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us. So Anni, you're a master healer, and I know that today we're supposed to talk about healing and how embracing our shadow pains, possibly past traumas, can lead to a deeper, more true transformation. So that's a huge topic. But before we dive into that, I want to, just give our listeners kind of a background on how you got into the space of mental healing.
Well, that's a long story. I will try to make it short,
right?
For the sake of time. I really loved helping people getting out of messy situations, and I was doing this for my friends, pretty much forever. Then I started my own healing journey because I had a feeling that I have a huge untapped potential. Like almost 50% of myself is somewhere out there, and I cannot really access this part of mine. So I really wanted to open the door, and this is where healing came into my life. I started my own healing journey, and my healer suggested that I should get trained to become a healer. And I was ignoring her at first, but she kept prompting me. So I went into the first training out of curiosity because I'm really curious about experimenting and learning new things and trying new things out. So I went there, and the rest is history. People started coming over for my professional advice this time, and I have managed to build an experience of 10,000 healing sessions until today. So it's a lot, but I really love doing that.
That is amazing. 10,000 healing sessions. That is a lot. And it sounds like you just really have this deep internal love of helping people. And I think that is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I love being useful in a meaningful way. It ignites my joy and it opens my heart up and it makes me feel fulfilled. I have an internal hunger for meaning, which is so big. And this is what has fueled this path of mine.
I think that is just absolutely amazing. And I think a lot of us, do get into the spaces that we choose to work in. At least like the women that I've interviewed on my shows, and most of the other coaches that I know, we're in this space because of something that has impacted our life and is just so big that we have to share that with others. And it sounds like you're coming from, a very, very similar space, and I love that.
Yeah, exactly. At first, when I wanted so badly to discover myself on a deeper level, I tried other things too, such as therapy, but it was too mental for me. I wanted something more juicy, let's say, and faster also. So this is how I ended up having healing sessions, and it impacted my life for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, therapy can be a long road, and so you find that this form of treatment can be a little faster.
It can be a lot faster
Okay.
as long as the receiver is conductive enough, because healing or therapy or whatever, because I bridge both actually, mental health and healing, works perfectly fine and really fast if you are conductive enough, because we co-create. It's not like me saving you. I provide my skills, my guidance, my experience, and then you have your contribution, which is 50% of the outcome. So it's a huge thing. But if someone is not willing to evolve, change, understand what is happening within and all around them, then I can't help them, even if I have 1 million healing sessions of experience.
Right. I totally can see how that would be true, because, even inside of just helping someone, with healing in internal, like health issues, if they're not, I can have the best plan in the whole world and write everything out step by step. but if they aren't contributing and doing the work on their end, then it's just a piece of paper. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. So do you find that with this healing work that you do, that people are like genuinely receptive and want to change, or do you find that there's barriers and like kind of obstacles?
Well, I do discovery calls
Mhm.
before I agree to work with someone. And there's a reason why I do that. I want to be sure that we belong together. I'm a
Mhm.
good fit for you and you're a good fit for me. Uh, once I agree to work with you, I will be very committed and I demand the same level of commitment
Mhm.
from the other side. Otherwise, why should I dedicate my time to someone that they do not make space for themselves in their own life? There's no reason to do that.
Right. I totally, totally get your point. I think that that's a really smart, kind of tool to have in your practice. So say that someone does come in and you've had this call and you've determined that you're both a good fit to move forwards. So then could you like walk us through what a healing journey would look like?
Well, that's a good question, and it lights me up because it's tricky. There's no
Yeah,
one size fits all.
I knew it. Okay.
But I can give you examples
Yeah,
in
that
order
would
to
be
be able to catch up with the whole process. Uh, I very often work with ladies that are pregnant and they have issues with pregnancy or previous miscarriages or stuff like that. In that case, I have to stay with them all along until they give birth. But I have had people that came in for very specific topics like difficulties in the relationship, the romantic relationship, or the relationship with their boss, their mother. This thing is usually resolved within 2 or 3 months maximum. But then they start falling in love with themselves and who they are becoming, working this path, and they have a next goal and the next topic to work on. Because if you want to resolve something and then stop doing it, uh, that's okay. But I have seen people coming with a specific demand and never leaving again. Because the only journey that is endless and very rewarding is the one inwards.
Mhm.
And I feel because I am in love with human beings and human messiness and human life, they start falling in love with themselves because it's really non-judgmental process.
Mhm.
It's full of acceptance and it creates a safe space for the people to bloom because we're not broken. We're not about to be fixed or something. We just need to remember who we really are beneath all the burden, beneath all the conditioning, beneath all the shoes.
Right. No, I think that is beautiful. Do you find that a lot of women come in and they don't have that self-love?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a trend, I would call it, about self-love, which is very interesting, but also very superficial at the same time, if I may say, because in order to love myself, I have to know myself. How can I love anybody that I don't really know? So it's not about loving myself and doing my nails or having a nice haircut. It's
Hmm.
about loving myself to the bone.
Right. And is that something that you see a lot of women struggle with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-love, self-acceptance. And we have all those things around body shaming,
Hmm.
which is very active. Not so much from the environment anymore, because awareness is being
Hmm.
raised around this
That's
topic.
true.
But shame themselves.
Yeah, it's internal more so now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I see it too. And it's hard. It is so hard to break that. But I'm not like a master mental healer. So I don't know, like, is there I don't know, some kind of tip that you could share with our listeners that might help them to start seeing like a spark of self-love.
Mm. Yeah. I believe love begins with acceptance.
Hmm.
Without acceptance, we cannot reach love.
It's true.
So I think the first, not very easy, but very interesting step to take towards that direction is to start honoring our body as our unique home for this life.
Yeah.
And there are many ways to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We can stop and offer gratitude to our body for carrying us around all day long, just for a minute. We can remember and honor that without this body, we're not able to exist on earth. So it's not about not liking my nose or not being slim enough or not being strong enough. It's about what is my body trying to communicate with me? What is it trying to teach me? What is the message behind everything that is happening inside my body? And why am I not capable to see the beauty in the mirror?
I think
Because
that,
there's beauty in everyone and everything.
yes, I couldn't agree more. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. It's so in alignment with some of the foundational practices that we work inside of our coaching, is you listening, like what you said exactly. What is your body trying to tell you? We have to listen, and we have to start learning how to honor it. I think I do. I think that's absolutely beautiful. So that kind of leads me, and I think this is a good way into my next question. So you do see that there is, women have a hard time loving themselves and appreciating themselves, and they have a hard time listening to their body too. And I think a lot of that is internal, and maybe we're not getting it so much from the media, but I think a lot of it is what we grew up with in our homes. But and maybe possibly comparing yourselves to others. But I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that trauma can play a huge role in our self-love and our self-acceptance. And so how that kind of is a good segue into where we're supposed to go with, how does embracing past trauma, or and past things that hurt us, how can that lead to a more full transformation?
Oh, well, trauma is wisdom in disguise. Actually,
No,
let me
yes,
put it that way.
that's a great way to look at it.
um, that there's not only the trauma that we have suffered in our childhood, let's say, there's also transgenerational trauma and the collective trauma. So women were suppressed and contained and forced to play small for so long,
Mhm.
and we carry that still. And it's our own mission to go back there and clear that trauma in ourselves, because each and every one of us that does it does a huge favor to the collective.
Mm,
The world will not change overnight. It never did.
no,
It changes one person at a time.
that's so
So nothing
profound.
is trivial.
No, and I think you have a good point that it's not always just what occurs to us, that it is collective and it is past, because our bodies, our DNA does remember.
That's very true. And we also have witnessed things that we might not consciously remember, but they are active
Mhm.
in our system.
That's
For
true.
instance, the way I was experiencing my mom loving or not loving herself
Hmm.
has impacted my self-love as an adult. Because as women, we have a role model of self-love that is identical to the way our mom was loving herself and our mom was loving us. So whatever was received from our mom's side has been translated in our system subconsciously as love. No child is able to compare their mother, their family, to another child's family and understand if it's good or bad, if it's functional or dysfunctional. So whatever we experience is internalized as normal.
Right. So if we have these pieces of well, they're conditioning of how we grew up, and we get to an age where we are questioning, like, well, maybe that wasn't normal, or maybe it should have been different if it wasn't. Um, but then that really does add up, and it is part of your identity. So when you're working, to learn to love yourself, I would imagine that some of this creates like an obstacle. And do you accept the obstacle? Do you work to overcome it? Like, how does that piece work in?
This is very interesting because the obstacle is never outwards, it's always within.
Right.
So it's all about resistance to change.
Mhm.
And resistance to change is coming from the fear of the unknown.
Right.
I don't know what my life will look like if I change that. And maybe a part of me is preferring to stay in the familiar
Hmm.
hell instead of stepping into the unknown and out
Right.
of the comfort zone.
Right. That's so true.
So it's all about accepting that there is resistance, observing it, understanding how it functions. Give it grace because it's trying to protect you, and then
Hmm.
work through it. It's not about fighting it. It won't work. It will persist.
Hmm. Right. So basically, like, accepting that, well, number one, that the things that are in your life are currently there to protect you. So it is serving you in some manner, but accepting that those things did happen, and they shouldn't be fought against, but rather worked through from a place of compassion and understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. That's fascinating. And then once you work through that, Annie, what's on the other side?
Oh, the other side is always blissful until you find the next topic to work on.
Yeah, I was afraid you were going to say
You know what? The first time you're going through the process is the most difficult one
that. Oh,
because you have
imagine.
no previous experience. You don't know how to
Hmm.
navigate that situation. But then when you have your first breakthrough and you feel super victorious and the total badass, then the next time is a lot more easier.
Right. I imagine.
And the more you go through the process, the more you master it.
Right. Right. That makes perfect sense. And I think it would be a very good idea, from what you've shared, that if you are going to go through this process and do all this mental work, it probably is a lot easier if you have someone like yourself to guide you.
Yeah, it is easier as long as you find someone who has integrity
Hmm.
and they walk their talk.
Right.
Because I'm not um, a good choice, uh, like a good healer to guide you through that because I'm certified in X modalities. I'm a good healer to guide you through that because I have walked this path myself millions, trillions of times. I know every peaceful, every nook and cranny, every spider web of the whole path.
Right. No, I love that. And I agree 1000%. When you're looking for a practitioner truly of any sort, I do believe that the best person to guide you, like you said, is number one, find someone that has integrity, because unfortunately, the wellness space and the fitness space is full of people with no integrity, but also finding someone that has been through and has experience with what you are particularly dealing with. Yes, I love
Exactly.
that. I love that. So, Annie, if someone wanted to dive in and go like, "Oh my gosh, I know that I need to love myself because I don't love myself, and maybe it's because of some mental internal work that I need to do, and no matter how much I diet, how much I exercise, I'm not going to overcome that." Um, but if they wanted to reach out and maybe find some more information about the services that you provide, where could they find you?
They could find me in our website at seedsofbliss.life or through social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, under the handle of Seeds of Bliss.
Okay, no, that's fantastic. And then I do also want to ask, I know we've covered, kind of a lot, like from your story, and then to like why you do what you do, how you can maybe overcome some of the the obstacles we have in loving ourselves to, working through some trauma. Was there anything that we didn't cover today that you wanted to make sure that we got out there for our audience?
Let me feel into that for a moment. Oh yeah, I think I have something. Okay. Since the audience of this show is mostly women, I guess.
Yes.
I would love to share that you hold tremendous power. You're a creative powerhouse. And you can create whatever you want in your reality through this creative center that is your womb. This is not about bearing children. You can do that, of course. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's about creation. You're a creatrix of life. And if you can create life, imagine what else you can create.
I absolutely love that, Annie. And I believe that you are 1000% true. That is something I used to say all the time when my children were smaller. And I think that I've kind of forgotten it over the years, but it is, if we can make a human life, like seriously, what else can you accomplish? Like pretty much anything, I think. So thank you for that reminder. I love it. All right. Well, thank you for your time today. I truly appreciate you overcoming time zones and half of the globe to be on our show. And thank you to our audience for tuning in. Again, you can find Annie if you would like more information on her services. Her website is seeds of bliss. Was it life? I didn't write down the
life.
Okay, seedsofbliss.life. Or on social media at Seeds of Bliss. And thank you all for joining us. Until next time.